Well, hello again, Florida Southern Moccasins, and we're here for week 6 of esports business models and trends. And today we're going to focus very much on where the money is in terms of sponsorships and how sponsors are backing the various teams as well as the influencers. So let's get started right now. So what are we going to cover this week? Hopefully, when we're done with it all, you're going to appreciate how much of esports economy is comprised of sponsorships. The good news is it's a lot. The bad news is it's a lot. You're going to understand the difference between endemic and non-endemic brand sponsorships in esports. You'll acknowledge and understand sports sponsorship return on investment and what exactly many of these endemic and non-endemic brands are hoping to get out of sponsoring esports teams, tournaments, and influencers. You'll comprehend the extent of global brand investment in North American esports, identify traditional sports corporations involved, understand the social media component of esports marketing, which is very, very much the norm when it comes especially to influencers, but teams as well. You'll comprehend the impact and influence of social media influencers, the important role played by shoutcasters, and one of my favorite little side hustles, which is the role of cosplayers in promoting esports. So again, our topics: endemic, non-endemic sponsorships, brand and company associations, promotional expenditures, providing attractive content for a range of products and services, traditional sports company investment, franchising strategy, and this thing called interstitial entertainment. So let's get right into it. There are obviously various types of esports sponsorships. They include among them the golden apple, which is outright financial sponsorship. This is when a sponsor donates financial support to an organization or a specific event in return for receiving recognition for doing so. This is clearly very active all over the athletic and music industry. The entertainment industry runs on this. But there are also in-kind sponsorships. In-kind sponsorships are actually quite active when it comes to esports. Media sponsorships, not so much, but it's going to grow. There are promotional partnerships, and this is very much about a split of revenue. And then clearly tournaments and or specific events. And then legacy sports co-promotions. That's something where you have like the NBA and NBA 2K working closely together. And obviously, TV, radio, podcast, YouTube channels, and the like. So let's review this chart from last week, because this is a cornerstone for why we're even talking about this week. And that is the continued growth of esports, okay? Where North America still holds a greater than 35% market share in esports and sponsorships. Notice this is the dominant revenue type. We mentioned that last time. This week, we're going to focus in on it. And we're focusing in on it because we're still looking at potentially a 22.5% market growth and a $9.1 billion market, which is nothing to sneeze at. So let's start at the beginning and identify the difference between endemic versus non-endemic. Currently, with esports, we're finding that 53% of sponsorships are from endemic sponsors. What does that mean? Those are sponsors that are highly associated with esports due to the use of or integration of their products and services into esports activities. You could almost look at it this way. Without the endemic sponsors, we can't do esports. Right? If we're talking about an Intel, we need those chips to do esports. Well, and we're going to get into them. Non-endemic sponsors, those are sponsors that offer products and services that are not directly related to the production or execution of esports activities. Now, we're going to find that there's some debate as to what is endemic and what is non-endemic. There are a lot of people that think Mountain Dew should be an endemic sponsor because esports gamers guzzle it. The same with Coca-Cola, G Fuel, and what have you. I come down on the side where, sorry, but that's not endemic. But let's get into it, okay? So let's focus on endemic, all right? Endemic would be HyperX, all right? We see HyperX very much being a major sponsor of esports, right? Down in Las Vegas, the Luxor is the HyperX Arena. And that's because HyperX is creating all sorts of peripherals and technology that you need. By the same token, so is Logitech, right? Logitech wants a piece of that action. And of course, then you got Intel. We should all genuflect and bow down when we talk about Intel, because without those chips, what are we going to do? So those are very obviously endemic sponsors. Now, of the top 20 esports teams in the world by prize money won, and the 19 largest esports events by viewership and sponsor money, 88% of all team partnerships and 65% of event partnerships are with endemic brands. Okay, now you see why, how important endemic is, because those endemic brands, they stand the greatest chance of having a return on their investment via the purchasing of their products from the audience that is interested in viewing, attending esports events. Makes sense? It's like automobile manufacturers promoting NASCAR or, the Daytona 500 or car racing. That makes sense. Or tire companies promoting those events, because those people that are interested in that sport are the ones most likely to be concerned about their cars, their tires, etc. Now, HyperX alone, which we just mentioned, is partnered with over 20 organizations and is the principal sponsor of the Intel Extreme Masters, IEM. Can anyone say Katowice? And DreamHack tournaments. This is all exciting, but there's a downside. With the money spread so thinly across what is a heavily fragmented esports market, there needs to be other sources of sponsorship revenue coming in. Why? Because, folks, there are only so many keyboards and mice that these companies can sell after all. This is where non-endemic brands come into the picture. And hopefully you've been able to surmise, based on the news, the esports, latest updates that I'm sending you, that there is a cash crisis. There's a bottom line issue that's being occurred with many of the larger esports team corporations. And that is because they have not yet been able to diversify their revenue streams. They're relying too much on sponsorships and or tournament winnings. So this is where you, as business graduates of Florida Southern or MBA graduates, may very well be carving your niche for a future job. So now, when we take a look at non-endemic brands, feast your eyes, okay? You can play esports without mobile gas, all right? You don't need a Ford to play esports. You might subsist on Taco Bell and Uber, but they're not essential to the creation of esports. So you can go through all of this and realize the extent to which non-endemic brands are getting involved in esports. Now, this is from 2016. If anything, folks, it has increased since then. All right, we're going to get into that. Here are non-endemic brands that have really carved out a niche in esports and have become heavily reliant from teams and organizations for their sponsorship. And Coca-Cola especially has been more and more interested in esports, which is great news, because when you think about it, Coke and athletics, they go hand in hand, right? And they go hand in hand, not just for the players, but for the viewership, Okay, some of the unique partnerships. Kit Kat, all right? Kit Kat is owned by Nestle chocolates, right? The main partner for these various tournaments that you see here, and has also been involved in these tournaments. Why? It's real simple. We want you to eat Kit Kat bars, okay? This one is fascinating because DHL, I presume you're familiar with it. It's like FedEx, all right? But DHL is international. You'll notice that they're sponsoring ESL. ESL is Germany, all right? It's primarily based in Europe. And in Europe, DHL has as great a profile, if not even a greater profile, than, say, FedEx or UPS or any other delivery service. So the fact of the matter is, DHL wants to be the preferred vendor for any sort of shipping, especially in Europe, where they have a much larger profile than they have in North America. And even Kellogg's has gotten into this with the Major League Soccer. Again, Kellogg's breakfast cereal, enough said. Now, let's do some comparisons, okay? In 2020, the National Football League revenue was $12.2 billion, while the sponsorship stream brought in $1.42 billion. That's the sponsorship stream online media for NFL. Roughly 12% of that $12.2 billion. So you can see that while it's a significant percentage, I'm not going to sneeze at $1.42 billion, it is not the major one. But at the same time, esports sponsorships from both endemic and non-endemic companies account for about 59% of revenue. You can see here where red flags should be going up. Okay, if you're going to go into esports management, one of the things you have to deal with is, I love the fact that it's 59%, that they love us and all that, but are we giving them the proper ROI? And are we giving them a measurable ROI? Okay. Now, let's drill down into how these sponsorships occur. Brands typically can extend three main types of gaming sponsorships to teams and influencers. These are affiliate code sponsorships, hybrid sponsorships, and pure gaming sponsorships. Now, depending upon the textbook you read, there could be 4, there could be 5, there could be 6. Well, in this class, there are 3. We're only here for like 7 weeks, so let's make the most of it, okay? So let's look at what is a sponsor-affiliate relationship. Affiliate means an entity that joins or participates in the investment or financing of another service or product. We're going to drill down into this. What this means is the two entities then split or share in the percentage of sales generated from a shared link or a blog or some other pay-per-click ad. Now, affiliate is used primarily to describe a business relationship wherein one company owns less than a majority stake in the other company's stock, a minority if they have any equity stake. Affiliations can also describe a type of relationship in which at least 2 different companies are subsidiaries of the same larger parent company. That's a definition that's not so much at work here, but we're going to drill down into this, which comes back to, okay, why do companies sponsor esports? And how is this being decided? Welcome to the world of artificial intelligence. This frankly kind of blew my mind when I studied it. AI-powered matching for brands and esports partnerships. So artificial intelligence is using predictive algorithms to improve areas of the customer life cycle. What's the customer life cycle? The acquisition of a customer, the retention of the customer, and the win back. In other words, how much money we're making. The same technology helps identify potential esports partners that are best aligned with a sponsor's values. And that's what this chart is all about, okay? So for example, here's 100 Thieves, okay? Here's ESL, here's Fanatics, here's Riot Games. And these are the companies, the various, these are non-endemic sponsors that are looking for the right match. So what this is saying, let's look at ESL, right? That Allstate has a 67% rightful match. New Balance, more, 73%. Oakley, 70%. Taco Bell, 60%. Taco Bell is not that big in Europe. 74% for Tissot, and Emirates, 72%. Now, all of this matching is being done through AI. Now, what kind of AI? The company is called Esports IQ, and it's using IBM Watson AI. I'm sure you're familiar with IBM Watson primarily from its chess competitions and all that. IBM Watson AI analyzes the brand voice on social media, and it utilizes linguistic analysis to infer personality characteristics from written content. I find it rather fascinating. Now, I would not rely on this totally, but I would have a marketing director like you to be the one to analyze what Watson is giving us in terms of the percentage to which these endemic or non-endemic sponsors would be a rightful match for any of these teams or competitions or what have you, and then make my decision. But I find it absolutely fascinating, but it's a trend. Okay, this is a major trend. What does it say to you? This says, gee, is Florida Southern offering any sort of data analysis using artificial intelligence? Are they offering any AI courses? Because it's going to look good on your resume if you have some familiarity with that. Okay, enough. Now, obviously, apparel brands are very much into esports for obvious reasons. And one of those being the desire to have more and more women engaged in esports. So when you take a look at something like the Girl Gamer Esports Festival, it's a natural that Sephora would be one of the sponsors thereof. Starbucks, coffee. My wife is out of town, so if I'm going to drink coffee, I got to go to Starbucks. Okay, now take a look at this. The long-running Supergirl Gamer series returned in 2022, right? Hosting online events across multiple esports, LOL, Hearthstone, CSGO. It also saw the addition of Valorant to the lineup of games. Now, over the competition series, Supergirl Gamer distributed $100,000 US dollars in cash and prizes. Notice Legion by Lenovo. Okay, my daughter was recently the #1 North American. What the hell does my daughter do? Occupancy planner for Lenovo. In fact, I've got Lenovo screens. So you can see here that this is now an endemic sponsor. All right, Lenovo sponsoring Supergirl Gamer series, wanting more girls to get involved in esports, and hopefully they will do that buying Lenovo technology, because Lenovo has shown they care. Okay, now what is affiliate marketing? Let's generate an income by recommending other people's or companies' products. So here you are, and this is going to be, you can probably relate to this very much of imagining you as an influencer. And actually, many of you are already influencers, which means you have an audience, you have some authority among that audience, and you have trust. So this means that among all of these, there are potential customers to the products. Dollars. Let's look at Razer, because Razer is an endemic sponsor with a very good affiliate program. The Razer affiliate program is a way to earn commissions. Yes, you earning commissions by referring visitors to Razer through banners or links. The program rewards participants for marketing their brand's gaming gear to peer players. How is this done? This is done by placing banners and links on your website to refer visitors to the Razer store. Okay, so they're on your website, they see the banner, they click the link to the Razer store, and they see this headset, this monitor, this machine. They want to buy it, and guess what? Participants in the Razer affiliate program, let's assume it's you, can earn up to a 10% commission on the sale of Razer products once a visitor makes a purchase through the banner or link that's on your site. So I like you. I think you're a really cool streamer, and you have a banner ad from Razer, and I go on there and I buy a new CPU from Razer, and I spend $1,200, and you get $120, and you haven't done anything. You haven't done anything but have this banner on your site. Easy money, easy money. Let's continue. Okay. Now, how do you become a Razor affiliate? It's pretty simple. It's free to join. You earn commissions for every Razor item purchase that originates through your link. I'm sure there are a number of you right now going, well, wait, I'm a streamer. I don't have a Razor link on there. Don, thank you. All right. Razor provides you with all the necessary creative materials. It's in their interest. You have text links and banners of all sizes at your disposal. You just need to be age 18 and above, which all of you are. Razor, though, will review each application and make the final decision on eligibility. And from what I've been able to glean from your submissions and all that, you're in. You're in like Flynn, okay? Now, what are the pros? It's free, all right? You just sign up and get started. You become part of something great. You're helping Razor put gaming gear in the hands of gamers everywhere. And Razor initiates special incentives, such as offers and promotions to help you drive traffic. What are the cons? Being a Razor affiliate does not indicate any partnership or sponsorship with Razor, nor any entitlement to free products from Razor. In other words, you can't say, hey, I'm a Razor affiliate, send me a new headset, send me a new keyboard, send me some new, that doesn't work that way, okay? This is really an affiliate relationship whereby you drive traffic to their site. If the traffic bites on the offer, you get paid. Cool, okay? Now, let's take a look at how this looks. Here's Arteezy, right? And you'll notice his sponsors, right? We've got Monster, Affinity, SteelSeries, Address. This is where he can be seen. This is how it is shown. Now, let's talk about a hybrid sponsorship. Hybrid sponsorships provide all the benefits of the affiliate code sponsorship, but also include some added perks. What are these perks? In addition to a discount code for their audience, the hybrid sponsorship also includes an internal code for you. This internal code often is for a substantially greater percentage discount to be used only by the recipient and its internal team members. So in other words, affiliate, you're driving traffic to the Razor site and you're getting a percentage there. But if you bump up to sponsorship, Razor's saying, look, we like you. You have proven to be a good partner, which means you're going to get a much better deal on anything you need. So this allows the recipient to receive substantially discounted products instead of relying solely on the smaller external discount code. In addition, the sponsor might provide discounted or free products to the recipient for use in giveaways, contests, reviews, photo shoots, and attending live events. This level of sponsorship is typically reserved for low to mid-tier esports teams or influencers in the gaming market with a substantial enough audience to drive a more consistent level of sales for the sponsor. Only makes sense, right? So what are the requirements? 10,000 plus highly active social followers on at least one social platform. So they're not fooling around here. You need to be active. Several 100,000 social impressions each month. Now we're getting serious. Semi-pro or better players with set rosters, actively attending tournaments, 10,000 plus highly active social followers. I just said that. And an organization website. So you can see that the threshold here is definitely more and higher than affiliate, but the benefits are also more substantial. Now, let's take a look at one of these, and that's the relationship between Adidas and G2. Okay, G2, currently known as a team of professional gamers. However, G2 has greater aspirations. It wants to become a media business focused on video games. So rather than only funding the gear the team wears, Adidas could do the same for the content around it. How will it do this? From podcasts to reality TV shows, original shows to lifestyle content. G2 plans to be more like Disney than Real Madrid Football Club, said Carlos Rodriguez, who's the CEO of G2 Esports. Okay. Now, there will be the customary Adidas branded gear for G2. Yeah, these are what the G2 players are going to wear, as well as a version of what's fast becoming the partnership du jour in esports, a lifestyle apparel collaboration. But there will also be a focus on content produced by G2's team of internal producers and influencers. This is where those of you with a creative bent and a demonstrated creative bent can really market yourself to various esports organizations. So what do we have here? We've got Adidas with G2 and the 2021 jersey reveal. So here's an example of how Adidas is really taking this to the next level. So G2 Esports unveils the first ever all-female team for Valorant. And so you see here how they really are marketing themselves for the female component that is a definitely growing market for esports. They're doing it through really cool apparel and promoting it through esports tournaments and competitions. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Now we go to pure gaming sponsorships. This is the third. Remember, we talked about affiliate, we talked about a hybrid. Now we're talking about pure gaming. Obviously, these are the most sought after by teams and influencers. Why? Well, because with pure gaming sponsorships, the brand wants promotion of their business. This usually means incorporation into the company's native advertising campaigns. In other words, what they're doing intrinsically to promote their product now includes you. This compensation may come in the form of lump sum payments and or access to free products. Esports teams and influencers may enjoy additional benefits. Now, this type of sponsorship is typically reserved exclusively for professional esports teams and influencers with enormous influence. How enormous? Often 500,000 plus social followings. Now, because of the lucrative nature of the sponsorship, it's infrequent to get because very few esports teams or influencers have the social following to justify such a deep brand investment, but they do exist. All right. And probably the best example of that is a company that many of you know and love and report on, and that's Red Bull. Okay. We can see here that Red Bull has taken its intrinsic investment in motorsports and has expanded it greatly to include soccer and is really getting into esports in a big way. Okay. Now, Red Bull has cultivated a strong presence in the esports space, courtesy of sponsorship deals with leading esports teams and events, right? The energy drink giant has tie-ups with prominent tournaments, including the League of Legends esports circuit, as well as globally recognized teams such as OG, G2, and T1. Aside from that, Red Bull also hosts esports events, including the Red Bull Campus Clutch, a Valorant tournament. So Red Bull is thinking ahead and is thinking colleges. Remember, Red Bull in Europe, they don't have this college connection. They don't have the high school connection. In the US, that is prominent and ever growing. Smart, Red Bull, smart. Okay, so here we have the LOL European Championship sponsored by Red Bull. Here we have Red Bull Esports writ large. Okay, and I found this to be a really significant statistic. These are Red Bull athletes by region. Okay, go back to all those requirements, right? To become a Red Bull athlete, 500,000, all these followers. In Europe, they sponsor 430 Red Bull athletes. Now, that's not just esports, that's all sports. But you'll notice Red Bull is primarily a European company. So it makes sense that Europe is where they are focusing their athletic investment. North America, 152. Not bad. I'm not sneezing at that. But look, Asia, 60. South America, 57. If I'm Red Bull, I'm going deep here. Oceania, that's Australia, New Zealand, and Southeast Asia to a degree. 37. Africa, 21. Invest in Africa. Middle East, 19, invest in the Middle East. Central America, 1. Those of you who speak Spanish, I suggest you reach out to Red Bull, okay? So we see this also, though, it's not limited to Red Bull. Bud Light, the League of Legends Championship Series, Riot. You're old enough to drink beer, we want you to drink Bud Light, okay? Now we need to talk about influencers. We've been inferring and referring to influencers in terms of sponsorships, but we need to drill down into that. How popular is it? It's all over the place. You can go to sites on YouTube, 21 of the most popular gaming influencers on YouTube. Now, who's the one looking at this? The marketing director of a particular company that wants to start promoting to Gen Z, i.e. you, or maybe millennials, your mom and dad, okay? Now, Instagram influencer tiers. Oh, you could be a mega influencer if you have 1 million or more followers, okay? Macro, you have 500,000 to 1 million followers. Mid-tier, 50,000 to 500,000. Micro, 10,000 to 50,000. Nano, 1,000 to 10,000 followers. Below that, it's mom, dad, don't bother me. So how do you connect with influencers has become a business in and of itself. So those of you who are thinking, well, gee, maybe I want to go into become an agent. All right, maybe I want to, really become someone who connects influence with products. This is a vibrant industry. Now, one of the things we're seeing is substantial growth in influencer campaigns. This really became big during the pandemic, obviously. But frankly, it's persistent and it's lingering there. So when companies were asked about their growth and investment in influencer campaigns, 62% said they intend to increase their influencer marketing budget. 20% said they expect it to remain the same. 12% said they were unsure, but 7% said they intended to decrease. That's the 7% that did not make a proper connection with the right influencer for them. Now, granted, influencers are people, individuals, and there's no telling who's going to go off the deep end, who's going to say something offensive that turns a lot of people off, who's going to get sued, who's going to get arrested, who's going to get blacklisted. So you're taking a gamble on them, all right? But it's really no different than any other media industry showbiz that you're talking about. Okay, here's the influencer marketing landscape. Holy mackerel. We've got here the platform and the marketplace. This is basically, everything that's looking for to market through influencers. Here are agencies that are there to connect. Here's the studio and talent networks that are working with the influencers for the creation of their talent. Here's the representation. We haven't talked that much about, unionization, but agencies are becoming much more prominent. All right. So these are basically, the organizations that are like, oh, you want to talk to Don? Well, Don's represented by CAA. You need to talk to CAA. And then these are the technologies that are used by the influencers. You can see this is big business growing rapidly. And here's an example of Lulu Lovely, who's an influencer, right? And how G Fuel is one of her affiliates, how Champs is one of her affiliates. Here we see how No Tail is also one of them. And why don't I put him here? Oh, Red Bull. Yeah, Red Bull. Okay. How he's promoting Red Bull. And here's, Zetalot is streaming from the official Mountain Dew channel. And, SK Gaming. Okay. Mountain Dew. You can see that. Now, this is a great slide because it shows you the connectivity. Okay. So that you have one company that's connected with certain influencers that in turn are connected with other companies and other influencers. And you can see why it becomes a network. All right. It becomes a network. And frankly, individuals who are able to make these graphs, these charts about connectivity, this is all data analytics, are also worth a great deal of weight. Okay. Now, how do you calculate the return on investment of an influencer marketing campaign? Well, you can't calculate the return on investment of an influencer marketing campaign unless you know why you got into it. Now, if you got into it because your objective is simply awareness, we might be new to the marketplace. This might be a brand new product. This might be a brand new variation on an existing product. So the performance metric, how we measure the ROI on the awareness, has got to be, okay, how many activated influencers are we connected with? How many posts are received? What's the reach that these influencers and posts have? And how many impressions are being generated by them? That's how we calculate whether or not we are achieving the awareness we seek. Now, if our objective is consideration, in other words, I really want you at the very least to consider this product. Maybe it's a product that's been on the market for a while. Maybe it's a product that used to be popular but is now underperforming. Maybe we've tweaked it, the new Coke, all right? Now we're looking at what are the number of views, what's the level of engagement, what's the engagement rate, how many clicks are being generated, and how much traffic is being generated overall. That becomes our return on investment if consideration is what we are after. Now, if what we are after, pure and simple, is sales, that's called the conversion. All right, what is the conversion rate? I'm on these sites, I'm hooked up with these influencers. The only bottom line that matters to me is sales. I'm a publisher, right? I recently have a book that premiered, that came out in July 1st, actually. Or was it July 4th? It's called Running at Hialeah. It's a fiction book. It's hilarious. It's funny. It takes place in Hialeah, Florida, at the racetrack and all that. Well, it's on Amazon. Guess what? My awareness is reviews, all right? How many reviews am I getting? And I'm getting nothing but 5-star reviews except for one moron who gave me a 4-star review, all right? But the conversion is what matters the most. That's called sales. How many books did I sell? That's what I'm interested in. And so far, I've kind of peaked. So now I've got to look for other ways to make conversions. I did the signing here in Pittsburgh, local reach of bookstores and all that. But I'm interested, frankly, in conversion. What I'm really interested in movie rights, but that's something else, okay? So based upon what we've been able to gauge in terms of ROI, we've got to say, compared to other channels, is the return on investment from influencer marketing to companies much better? Well, 14% say yes. 34% say it's better. 41% say it's comparable. In other words, 89% of the companies that have been involved in influencer marketing say that the return on investment from influencer marketing is comparable or better than other channels. So now you're a marketing director. What do you do with all that? You compare it price-wise with what you've been spending on legacy traditional marketing. In other words, if you're taking out a full-page ad in the local newspaper, if one still exists, and they're charging you $10,000 for that, and you're there saying, well, what exactly is my conversion rate for that ad? And if I were to spend $10,000 on influencer marketing, how much broader a reach could I get? That's the decision you need to make. Only 10% said it was worse than what they got through other channels, and 1% said it was much worse. That 1% I blame on their marketing director, okay? So how do you measure the success of your influencer marketing program? Engagement, 81%. Traffic, clicks and what have you, 62%. Reach, 61%. Conversions, 53%. All right, if 53% said it was conversions, that means awareness and consideration was more important to those sponsors. So you can see here how we measure ROI, which also asks the question, over what period of time? So how long do you typically measure results from an influencer campaign? 44% say for the duration of the campaign. Who sets the duration of the campaign? You, as the marketing director, set it. For example, if we're trying to get the Christmas traffic, the holiday traffic, bingo. If we're trying to get beachwear, so we start marketing in late winter. Now we're going into spring. That's the campaign. You're going to decide the duration of the campaign. 25% said, well, a few months past the campaign and date. 27% say it doesn't stop. We're constantly measuring this. Perhaps the product that we're trying, or the service we're trying to sell, is something that is ongoing. It's not dependent upon seasonal. And 4% said there were other ways of measuring it. Now, the most pertinent question perhaps is whether the brand promotion is translating into an appetite for the core product. According to data from YouGov Global Fan Profiles, which also contains key brand metrics from YouGov Brand Index, the answer is a solid yes. How do we know this? Red Bull scores significantly higher in consideration among esports fans compared to the average population in a variety of markets. Obviously, we're talking about a sport, esport, that requires incredible focus, incredible hand-eye coordination. You've got to be attuned. It's one of the reasons why we have a problem with cheating, right? With Ritalin and Adderall, keep me more involved. Well, the one way to do this that is legal is through Red Bull, okay? So a big question to ask is the degree to which esports fans view endemic and non-endemic branding and marketing on esports sites and tournaments. And here the news is all good, right? 56% of total esports fans say that a brand provides their products to a winner of an event. They like that. I'm more prone to purchase that. 54% say the brand provides prize money to a winner of an event. I'm more likely to sponsor them. You can see here, you can read this chart, 51%, the lowest, still a majority, say a brand that is the sole sponsor of a live stream of an esports event or competition, they get thumbs up by me. So right now, esports fans are saying, we like it, we want it, keep going. And this is from Nielsen Esports Report, fairly renowned. Frankly, Nielsen Esports Report is better than what they do with legacy media. Now, I want to not close, but I want to go into interstitial entertainment. What is interstitial entertainment? Any web-based advertisement which occurs before, after, or during a narrative content presentation is interstitial. For example, if streaming media terminology were applied to a regular television, then TV commercials would be called interstitials since they interrupt programming. And probably nobody's better than interrupting programming nowadays than YouTube. And I hate it and it pisses me off, okay? Now, interstitial programming, the meaning definition. Here's an example of a group watching an esports tournament. Well, at some point, and there's a fighting game, the game's going to end. Now what? Okay, now what? Do we just let them disperse? I mean, who's got to go to the bathroom? Who needs to go to Starbucks? Who needs to get a sandwich? But what about those who are remaining? We want to give them content. And that content in between matches is interstitial. This becomes very important for us in esports because if we're doing a Rocket League tournament, the game is 5 minutes. Now, even if it's best 3 out of 5, that's what, 15 minutes? So now what? We've got to capture that audience and sell them something. So what are we going to show? Sometimes we want to show a podcast, an interview. Here's Esports Biz This Week in Esports with Mark Kai. Other times, we simply want to put up a logo there where we've got the LA Kings combined with Esports Entertainment Group promoting LA Kings and their involvement in esports. Other times, we simply want to promote the next match. This is a screenshot from a Rocket League tournament that we did here, right? North Catholic Trojans versus Eastern Westmoreland County Technical College. Follow us on Twitch TV, right? See the bracket at, etc. Other times we want to switch to the podcast, the shoutcasters. All right. So the shoutcasters are filling time as the next set of teams prepare for their match. And this is usually done by commenting upon the previous match and what have you. But you need to think about this from a marketing standpoint. And lastly, what about cosplay? I love cosplay. I'm a drama professor. Cosplay means costume play. And go back to the 2019 cosplay contest. That was a showcase of the Dota 2 community talent. Okay. New York Comic Con. All right. Cosplay music video. I love cosplay because these are actors and actresses that are living out the character that they prefer, right? Now, while I love it, how do we make money? Okay. How is money made from cosplay? Well, it's made from selling merchandise. What merchandise? Well, the costumes or the costume peripherals. You know, here in Pittsburgh, we're very big with, we love furries. Okay, furries. Pittsburgh is the home base, the mecca of furrydom globally. And when they have the furry convention at the David L. Lawrence Convention Center, they're selling, you name it. They're selling ears, they're selling masks, they're selling tails, they're selling boas, you name it. So selling merchandise is one way. Creating commissioned costumes is another. So you have booths there with seamstresses and costume shops that are there saying, you want to get into cosplay, you're not the best seamstress, we'll make it for you. Also becoming an online content creator. And by therefore building up a social media following, you can turn cosplay into a lucrative side hustle. However, let's be blunt, very few people are able to turn the hobby of cosplay into a full-time career. One who has is Yaya Han. She's one of the most famous cosplayers in the US, and she was able to turn her passion into a full-time career. So it's nothing to sneeze at. If anything, it adds to the excitement and the enjoyment, especially of online activities. And here is I think this is from BlizzCon. You can see the extent to which cosplay becomes so incredible. So that is this week's 6 lecture. I hope you found it informative and all that. So thank you very much and talk to you later. Okay. Stop sharing, and I'm going to end the lecture.